back to my channel. So today I'm going to do it, finally sitting down, and I'm going to do our IUI journey story from the very beginning. I'm going to do it as best as I can. I've took loads of notes down because I've got baby brain right now and I completely forget everything. The only dates I remember is the date from our first IUI and the date from our last IUI. So everything in between was kind of a little bit of a haze for me. So finally got all the dates down and I'm finally ready to tell our story. So if you haven't been following us for a while, we decided to start trying for a baby in 2016 after we got married. On the 1st of December was our official start day of trying to conceive, and I'd stopped taking the pill. We got married in November, we went on honeymoon, we came back, all that kind of stuff. And eventually the year passed and we still hadn't had a positive pregnancy test, nothing at all, not even a glimmer of hope. And then we eventually decided to go and speak to my doctor. I spoke to my doctor, she referred us to the Royal Infirmary at Glasgow, and we went to the ACS unit, and they basically do loads of tests and they test you out to make sure that you're fine and what the problem could be. Turns out that we have unexplained infertility, so the two of us has worked, it's just that nothing would stick. And then it turns out that after a little bit of research, once I found out I was pregnant, my blood type struggled to get pregnant anyway, so it probably would never have happened without a little help anyway. So we eventually went down the route of getting another test done, and we started trying letrozole. Well, I got the letrozole because Matthew can't get it. It regulates your ovulation. I do have a few videos, I will link a few down below. I have a couple of videos of what we used, and that I'll put the one down of everything that we tried. Obviously we weren't successful with them, but I will put the one down that when we were everything we tried, so like pregnant care, all that kind of stuff, and you can watch that if you want to watch that. But this is where we are now. So when the letrozole didn't work, we were put on the list for IUI, and it was a while we had to wait to get everything done. I think it was like 6 to 8 weeks you had to wait, but luckily my appointment came through quite fast. So we got everything done, and I remember being given my nasal spray. So you had to take a nasal spray 4 times a day, just to kind of get your body ready for everything. So mine was 7 o'clock in the morning, 12 o'clock in the afternoon, 6 o'clock at night and 11 o'clock at night. I had to set alarms for every one of them unless I was at work because I always remember to take it at lunchtime. But it was so annoying if you weren't at work or you weren't up early, you had to set that alarm for that 7 o'clock in the morning one. I was petrified to take it because I hated putting anything up my nose, but when you were doing it for so long you eventually get used to it and it's nothing to you anymore. So I think I got that round about the 6th of May 2019. I'm sure it was round about that time anyway. I know it was the start of May and I'm sure it was round about then. So I got my nasal spray, and it was a little bit annoying because you had to take it everywhere with you. You had to make sure you had your nasal spray with you. I had a night out, and I remember I had a night out one night and I had to take my nasal spray with me because I was going to be out late. And you have to make sure that you've always got it. So at every appointment they would ask you, and then sometimes you would just take it because then it means you didn't have to go up to the hospital again to get your nasal spray. So, and sometimes it was a carry on because you'd walk in and they'd be like, but you have an appointment? And I'm like, I don't need an appointment, I'm picking up a nasal spray. But anyway, we're past all that now, thank goodness. But so on the 27th of May we eventually got given our Menopur injections. Menopur, we were given 75 mils at first, and it took a long time for any follicle to get mature enough to even try and trigger with our first round. It was, I think we took like 15 injections, and they eventually halfway through were like, we're going to up your dosage because this just isn't working for you. They upped my dosage to 112.5 mils, and eventually my follicles started to get bigger and bigger and bigger. And then they basically said one day that they might have to cancel this because I had such a big follicle that they were scared that it was going to be a multiple pregnancy. Luckily, on the 12th of June, they phoned and we triggered that night at 20 to 8 at night. They basically give you your trigger away just in case. You put it in the fridge and you keep it there until they tell you to use it. So I was so glad when we got the phone call. I remember when I looked at my phone and I was just like, thank God, like I was so glad that we finally got that phone call to just say that you can trigger and you can do it. So we triggered on the 12th, and they give you your time to go in. They give Matthew his time. So Matthew had to go to the hospital. I think it was like 8 o'clock in the morning. He had to be there. He has to do his sample. So he goes into the place, does his sample, comes home, gets me, and then we go to the hospital. My appointment was at 11 o'clock, and I remember the first round being stressful. Like, I didn't feel relaxed at all. I hated it. We waited in the room for ages. I was there myself for a while, and then I was like, right, it's fine. So I just like was crazy. It was like the most weirdest thing ever, because you're sitting there and you've got your gown on, and then Matthew's got his gown on as well. As like, but this was on the 14th of June, so we went in on the 14th of June. We got an insemination done, and then because I didn't really know much about it, I just thought you got that done and you went and that was you just got ready. But you go in the room, you get ready again, and then the nurse comes in again and she's like, I'm going to give you your progesterone. Would you like pessaries or cream or gels? And I was like, what's progesterone? Like, what is this? But obviously when they say that to you, you kind of just guess what you have to do with it. So I took the gel, and it's like a little long thing that you put in and you squeeze it. So you have to do that so many days after your IUI, and then you do that for 2 weeks, and then you do your test. So I was on Crinon, Crinon. That was the progesterone that I decided to take, and I took that the 3 times that I done IUI. I just decided to stick to the same thing because I was like, I don't want to try anything different, and it was so much easier because you could just do it and then go to work, but you had to take them 12 hours apart. So I would do mine at 7 o'clock in the morning and then do it at 7 o'clock at night, because the time I got up for work and I was leaving, I would get up, do my progesterone, get ready, go to work. Then the time I came home, I finished at 6 o'clock. I would get Matthew pick me up, come home, do my progesterone. So it was just like a normal thing for me to just eventually do it. Obviously if I was off work, I would do it a little bit later, but then I would do it later at night as well. So it was just like a little routine you kind of get yourself into. All the while still doing my nasal spray. You still have to do your nasal spray all the way through this, which was I just didn't expect. I thought you just stopped it because your body had just been inseminated, but it obviously didn't. So you keep doing that, and then your test day, you're just waiting on that test day coming. Our test date for that one was the 28th of June, and I remember we were going away on a little family holiday, and it was that day, and me and Matthew videoed it. I deleted the video because when I watched it, I just hated the feeling that I felt that day. I felt hatred towards myself because I had failed me and Matthew, and I hadn't gotten pregnant. But yeah, so we done our test and it came back negative. So I remember I was fine at first, and then I just broke down. I was crying before the test even came up, and then I was fine, and then we just got on with it. We just got on with our day. We went out, and I was just like, right, we'll just go, we're going to enjoy a little holiday with the family. And I did enjoy the holiday, but obviously deep down I was still feeling like rubbish. I was putting on this smile and pretending that everything was okay when really I wasn't okay. This whole experience put me in a completely different mindset and a different body. I wasn't the same person that I was before I wanted a baby. It's just crazy the way your body works and your mind works. So you get a letter when you go in for your insemination, so you send that away with positive or negative ticked on your, like, whatever your test is. So when I came home, I sent that away with a negative, and it came back and they send you a little letter saying, we're sorry that it never worked out, blah blah blah. Then we waited for 6 weeks, I think, for our next appointment to come through. We eventually got it done, and then I had to phone, and they were like, you have to wait till you've had a bleed, and I was like, I've bled. So that's the whole point in me having to phone you back, because I'm still waiting to hear like what happens next, like when do I do my next round. So the next round came up, and I had the first appointment on the 29th of July, so that was like 4 weeks, yeah. So, and then, but it was a wee bit longer, obviously wait for getting anything done. So we go in July. We had the appointment, which was pointless because they were only asking questions. They didn't even do anything. And then she eventually scanned me and she was like, your lining's too thick. And I was like, right, okay. So I had to wait in another bleed. Then we went back the 29th of August and we got our Menopur again. But this time they didn't start me on the low dosage. They started me straight onto the 112.5 because they knew that that was what was working for me. Done that, and I literally had 2 scans and I was getting, like, I got my trigger given away. And, well, no, tell I didn't get my trigger given away. I was at my mum's. I had just came back from the gym with my sister and the nurse phoned me and she was like, did we give you your booster? And I was like, no. And she was like, you need to trigger tonight at 6 o'clock. You need to trigger. And I was like, right. So luckily Matthew had literally just finished work and I was like, Matthew, can you jump to the hospital and pick up the trigger because we have to do it tonight? And he was like, that's fine. Picked up the trigger, came home. So we triggered, it was 7 o'clock that night because I remember Matthew wasn't in and I was in the house myself and I'd done it. And but yeah, that was only a couple of injections and a couple of scans, so that was a quick round. And I don't understand that, like, how it just shows you, like, the dosage they gave me at first just wasn't working, and that's why it took 15 injections before that even got anywhere. So I done that. Our date to trigger was the 4th of September and we went in on the 6th of September. Sorry, I'm just looking at dates here. 6th of September we went in and we got it done. And again, you get your progesterone, get your letter, all that kind of stuff. You go away. This time it was so weird. I think I was in at 12 o'clock and then I was in and out. Like, they literally done it. I got dressed and I was out again. I just didn't feel like it was comfortable. I felt like everything was rushed this time and I just did not enjoy it. And I said to Matthew, I just don't like how this all felt. I just felt like uneasy and it was just completely different to the first time and I just didn't know what to expect. So we got our test day, which was the 29th of September, and again it came back negative. And I remember I was fine at first and then I went back into bed and I just started crying with Matthew. And he was like, you don't need to cover up how you feel. You know you're going to be sad because you've just found out that you're not pregnant again and that your second round's failed. And I was like, I know, but I just feel like it should work. In your mind, you start to think, I've had symptoms, so how come I'm not pregnant? Even though you know deep down that you never had symptoms and it was just in your head that everything was all over the place. Anyway, this time round, it took forever to even get back to the hospital. Like, it felt like we were waiting a lifetime to even get an appointment, and I think we eventually went in for an appointment and then they were like, right, we're just going to have to do bloods. Is your smear up to date? You need to prove that your smear's up to date. You need to prove this, that, next thing. And I was like, right, okay. So I had to come back and I had to give them, to prove that my smear had been up to date, I had to give them, like, they had to take bloods, all that kind of stuff. We did not hear anything for a while, like a long time with this round, for the last round. And I was like, they've got to seriously get in contact with us because they can't leave us like this. We've done nothing. I'm continuing my nasal spray this full time. Like, if this round doesn't work, then we're going on IVF. I just want to get it done and to see if everything's going to be okay. So on the 11th of November, I remember this because it was our anniversary, our wedding anniversary. We were going to a hotel and the only time they had was at 5 o'clock at night, and the hotel we were staying in was just outside Glasgow. And Matthew was like, right, hopefully we get in and out fast. We were sat there for longer. We paid goodness knows how much for parking that night because we stayed there so much longer than what we had to. There was one nurse who does scans and she came out and she was like, I'm so sorry, I'm the only one that can do scans. People came in after us and took in, and I was like, but surely we're first because we were here and we had already been waiting half an hour before these people even came in, so surely it was us. So anyway, we go in, she's like, you need to bleed. And I was like, okay. But look, I had 2 periods in October, so I didn't understand why I still had to do another bleed. So I eventually, 2 days later, I bled again, went back, I phoned them and I says, I've had my bleed, when can I come back in and get scanned? They managed to get me in a few days later and everything was fine, my follicles were fine. But again, this one was nearly cancelled because my follicle was too big. But the first time they told me that the first round was nearly cancelled, I was so upset I couldn't even go to work. But this time it's because in your mind you're like, it's failed twice before, what is the difference of this one? Like, why can't I just like, I just feel normal. So, but anyway, managed to go ahead. We had our scan, and then we done the menopure on the Monday the 18th of November. We got given our menopure. Started doing a menopure again. They started us on 112.5. Didn't take that long. I think we only done like 6 or 7 injections this time. And then we got given our trigger. I'm reading it from here. Excuse me. We got given our trigger on the 25th of November. Then that was at 6 o'clock at night, and luckily they gave me the thing away because I remember putting it in the fridge. And they were like, right, so if we phone you, you can do your trigger. And I was like, that's fair enough. So she showed us how to do it, and I was like, why are they showing us how to do this? I've done this twice before, I know what I'm doing. So done the trigger, and then on the 27th of November we obviously had to go in for an IUI, so you have to do your trigger 2 nights before. So we went in for an IUI, and I remember there was one nurse in particular that we really liked. I think her name was Fiona. She was really young. She was getting taught how to do IUI because she was in my second one, and we were literally talking about her. And I remember Matthew got dirt in his shoe, and he was like, I'm going to go and clean my shoe, you go just go straight through and check in. And I was like, fair enough. So I went through, and she was standing there, and I was like, I literally walked in, she's like, oh hi, how are you? And I was like, we were literally just talking about you 2 seconds ago, and now you're here. She went, I was on my annual leave, that's why I've not been here. And I was like, right, okay, that explains a lot. So she was like, I thought you would have been out of here by now. And I was like, well, so did I, but this is our last round. And she was like, oh, good luck. Walked through into the theatre part, and there was another nurse who had done my first IUI. She was like, oh hi, how are you? Like, it's amazing how you get to know everybody. You just get to know the nurses, and you get to be like friendly with them. And she was like, oh, good luck with everything, hope all goes well. And I was like, the same, because it's our last round before we have to go into anything else. Got into the room, literally got changed, and the nurse came in straight away, and she was like, right, we're ready to go. And because it was nearly Christmas, it was so nice to just talk when you're getting everything done. So when we went into the room, we were just talking about like, what are you doing for Christmas, like who cooks your Christmas dinner, are you sorted for Christmas, blah blah. And it just felt really different, and it was nice every time. Like, it was so different, but this time was so nice. And I remember when I came back out and I got fixed and they gave me my progesterone, I turned to Matthew and I went, I felt so at ease this time, and I just feel like something's different. And he was like, I know, it felt so different this time compared to the last 2 times. So every time we went in, we had this little pot of baby dust that my mum got us, and Matthew would hold it in his hand. He would always sit in my head, and he would hold it in his hand, and obviously it never worked the first 2 times. So it was like a nice little thing for him to have in his hand. And then another thing as well, when you get into the room, there's a little window. Bearing in mind, you're walking about with your gown on and no pants. Like, you're just bare naked in the bum. So I'm like trying to walk and hold this shut, and you walk in the room and she goes, come over to the window, and I'm like, I'm looking for a physical window that you actually look out. And she's like, just to confirm the date on Matthew's specimen and all that kind of stuff, and it has your date of birth and his date of birth. So every time you go in, this is what you're doing, and you sign the bit of paper. So basically you're checking to make sure that you're getting the right sperm. So I do all that, and they'd done that the last time, and everyone was just chit-chatting, and it was really nice. It was such a different experience. And when we left, we done the usual, you get your McDonald's, went to my mum's, and we just sat and chilled when we came home. And it was just different. It was so different. Our test date was the 12th of December. So I just kept thinking to myself, this is going to be the best Christmas ever if this works. If this works, it's going to be the best Christmas. I can't wait to tell Matthew and just like show him like that this is work, we're finally going to be a family. And I got too impatient and I tested a night early. Matthew had football training, and he went out, and I said to my mum had a little baby girl and it had pineapples on it. So anyone who doesn't know, pineapples represent infertility, and I'm obsessed with pineapples. Even the baby stuff's got pineapples on it. So I said to her, I'm going to come and get that baby grow, just put it in a bag and like blah blah blah. So I got given that and I put it in his stocking, and I was going to take a digital and I was like no, because I feel bad taking a digital because that's something between me and Matthew. So I took a cheapy one and I said to my mum, I'm going to do it tonight, I'm doing it tonight, and I'm going to just say if it is like negative or positive. I took it and I came back and I literally just dipped it in and took it into the living room. And I texted my mum and I just wrote OMG, and she wrote no, and I went OMG, and she's like no, and I was like it's there, it's came up straight away. I sent her a picture and she's like oh my god, and I was like I know mum, like I can't believe this has actually happened. So Matthew still had like 40 minutes before he would be home from football training, and I was like I can't keep this to myself. So I remember I was just texting my mum back and forward, and I printed a little thing off in work that said something about mum being in mummy's tummy, and I put the pregnancy test under the Christmas tree, and I put the thing in the stocking again, like I took it in and out all the time. And when he came in, I said to him, I've got a little surprise for you for Christmas, but you can get it just now. He was more worried about if he was going to get more surprises. I do have a video, I'll try and insert a little clip here like at the end so that you can see. If not, then I will post it one day, I promise. So he came in and he like was like, I'm scared to put my hand in, and I went, just put your hand in, look. And I pulled out the baby grow and he was like, are you pregnant? And I was like, yeah. And I showed him the test and he was like, oh my god. And then I like got teary eyed and all that kind of stuff. And he was like, when I cut the camera off, and he was like, that's the darkest one I've ever had, like you've obviously thought you were pregnant before but you're not. And it was like, so it was there, it was definitely there. And when I said I've not took the digital, I'm waiting until you were here to take the digital test, and literally I took it, I dipped it in and I put it down on the counter and I covered it up with the box because I was going to watch it, but I covered it up with the box, and Matthew went no but look, and he done that and took it off and it said pregnant straight away on it, and I was like, and I wish I recorded him because it was the best reaction that I have ever seen in my life. I have never seen, it was like when he's waiting in a football game coming up and his team scores, that is what it felt like, and it was the best feeling ever. And I didn't feel like any different, I just felt like in shock. I was so shocked. And I remember we had to go, it was like we need to go and tell my mum, so we went to his mum's, and obviously I told him I'd already told my mum because I tell my mum everything. And we went and she started crying, and it was just the best Christmas present ever to be told that our last round had worked. And I remember just like ticking the box, and I didn't even send a letter away, I emailed this time, and they sent a letter through saying congratulations, and our first scan was on the 10th of January, and that's when we found out we were having twins. So yeah, it's such a surreal experience. I just can't believe that we're having 2 babies still, and it's very soon. I'm going into hospital very soon. It's this month and I cannot believe it. We're more than prepared for the babies to come. Obviously we would have loved to have had a bigger house, but with everything that went on, and it's still going on, we can't get a bigger house just now, so we're just dealing with what we've got, and everything fits perfect just now. And I can't wait until a little boy and a little girl is here, and it's just crazy. It's the most surreal thing that's ever happened to us, and to be trying for 3.5 years and then to fall pregnant on our 3rd round and have 2 babies, it's the most surreal thing that I have ever went through. I did take notes of a couple of little things in case anyone is wondering what you would do throughout taking an IUI. So you're back and forward from the hospital every 2 to 3 days. You're getting scans and bloods done, just to check your follicles and to check your hormone levels. Then you cannot have unprotected sex as well, so that's another thing you have to be careful of. You cannot basically have sex without condoms. They do offer you condoms, and take them if you want them. If you don't want them, it's fine. And I had to continue my nasal spray until my last trigger. So that last trigger that I done on the, what day was it? The one before the 25th of November, I stopped buying nasal spray, and I remember going, finally, like I was so happy because I got a new one that day just in case, and I didn't need to take it. I was so happy. That was probably the best feeling about doing that last IUI, was stopping that nasal spray. My nasal spray was called Suprica as well, so I'll write it down here, and obviously I'll write the name of my progesterone and Menopure as well as the injections that I took throughout every round. So yeah, oh, I'm kind of glad I finally done this video. I did record it a long time ago, a while ago. I don't even think we had done our third round of IUI when I recorded the first one, so I deleted it because I hated just thinking about it, and then I remembered that I had another round to go, and I was like, what's the point, I may as well wait until the last round's done. So yeah, I hope I kind of went through everything okay for you. I did get a little bit mixed up with dates, well, not mixed up, I just kind of struggled to remember some dates. I'll try and insert some test videos, test pictures of when we found out we were pregnant, and I might try and insert the video at the end. If I don't, I will try and insert it somewhere so that you can watch it. I will put our gender reveal video down below as well, because if you don't know, well, I did say it in this video, so it just shows you if you've been paying attention. We found out in March what we were having, and I cannot wait till they're here. Oh, another thing as well, symptoms before I found out I was pregnant, because someone did ask if I could do symptoms, and I had the worst heartburn. I still have the worst heartburn. I've got the worst heartburn known to anyone ever, and that means your baby's got hair, and we know what one baby's got hair because they can tell in scans now. So, and one baby's bald. Well, we think they're bald, but we don't know. So we've got a baldy baby and a hairy baby. So I still get heartburn to this day. I cried when Matthew went to football training one night, and I never cry. I like having the time with myself. I remember looking out the window going, when's he coming home? And I was crying. And I also had bad thrush, which I didn't know was a symptom until I was talking to a girl I used to work with, and she said that was one of the symptoms that made her take a pregnancy test, because the chemist told her to take one because she kept getting bad thrush. She found out she was pregnant, and that's what happened to me. So yeah, that was a bit TMI, but I did have thrush, and I had to do that through taking my progesterone as well, which was a little bit annoying. So, but luckily it cleared up and it was all fine. I had really sore boobs and like just the usual stuff, but I just felt like that was normal because I get sore boobs when I was doing my period. After I had stopped taking letrozole, I got really bad period boobs. So I think I've covered everything. If you want to know anything else, just leave a comment or follow us on Instagram and give me a message. I will put it down here somewhere. I'm always on there, so I'm always checking to see if anyone's wanting any messages. I do get asked a lot of messages about IUI because I've obviously experienced it, and I talk about it a lot because it's one of the experiences that I never ever thought that I would ever have to do to have a baby. So yeah, I think it was the best surprise that we could have got last year, and then we got another surprise this year because we're having another baby in the family. No, it's not even this, we found out this year. She's due next year. My auntie's having a baby next year as well, and I know she watches these videos, so can't wait to have all our babies together. And once we find out what you're having, it'll be nice as well. But I will do a quick bump date for you. So I am 34 weeks and 4 days. 34 weeks and 4 days. And I have a hospital appointment on Monday, so that'll probably be my last one. And Matthew's allowed to come to them now because the whole corona thing, they stopped partners from coming, so Matthew's not been in any scans since I was about 18 weeks, and that was a private scan to find out what we were having. So this will be nice for him to finally see the babies again before we go and have them at this month. I'm not giving the date away. So, and I will do a name reveal once they're here as well, so look out for that. So yeah, I will do my bump picture video thing for you. That's us here, nearly at the end. I'm so itchy because my stretch marks are really bad right now, so I will not be doing any bare bellies because I do not like my, oh my goodness, my stretch marks. It's just one thing I'm very insecure about right now. I didn't get stretch marks until I had a couple. I think I had like 2 stretch marks, and then as soon as I started getting big, they started coming out. They're mostly down the bottom and they're starting to go down the sides, but this is the time now where the babies start growing and getting much bigger, so because they're just preparing for birth. So my C-section date is all prepared and we're ready to go. So I'm all packed and ready to go. Can't wait for the babies to be here now, and hopefully the next video that I put up, it will be showing the babies, which will be in a couple of weeks. So if you like watching my videos, please like and subscribe to my channel, and don't forget to put your bell on, and I will see you all very soon.